know if you're a Proud Boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Hey all, my name is Doug Pagitt. I was in a bar with Proud Boys in Marco Island, Florida, debating the topics of racism, Trumpism, and the Black Lives Matter movement. It was October 4th, 2020, just days after Donald Trump told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by when he was asked if he would condemn the white supremacist group in the presidential debate, and 92 days before members of that same group organized and funded the insurrection on January 6th. In one of the many moments when people gathered in that bar were shouting over me, the head of the Proud Boys for that part of West Florida interjected and demanded that they stop interrupting.
I am the ranking officer of our chapter for Proud Boys. I don't want to hear one Proud Boy say a damn word in here. And I'll tell you what, Mighty Joe Base is the freaking SSA because Pops ain't here. So, Proud Boys, shut the hell up.
You're welcome to watch the entire 34-minute video. There's a link to the video in the description. Part of what you will see peppered throughout the video are the many times when the group in the bar yelled and interrupted, and tensions were certainly getting high.
Everybody shut the up! Let them talk! I don't want to have to say it again!
Guys, you're in a bar.
Go!
Hey, all right,
I want to say something 1 second here. We're in a restaurant.
Yes.
There's no swearing in here. There's no yelling. Other people are trying to eat, so keep it down.
Thank you.
You're lucky you're even in here.
I appreciate it. Let's have an agreement here that I'm going to let you talk. You let me talk. And we're not going to do a Tuesday night debate interaction here, right? I think we'd all appreciate that, wouldn't we, friends?
Yes.
Wouldn't we appreciate that? It's not happening anymore, wouldn't you? Or what happened this afternoon at our rally, right? So Jason, listen to me here. We have a deal. You're going to let me talk. I'm going to let you talk. And we're going to have an interaction. And agreed to which that happens. I'm willing to stick it out.
Back up.
Can you let me?
Let him finish, and then
Okay,
we'll
here's the
rebuttal.
deal. I'm gonna give 5 more times of this, and then I'm gonna go. If we can't do this, if I have to keep stopping and pausing because people are interrupting my sentences, literally right now doing it.
The reason I was in Southwest Florida that day was that I was leading a national effort to ask Christian voters to not vote for Donald Trump. I believe Donald Trump was unqualified to be president and was a hazard to the well-being of our country, the world, and the planet. The organization I work for, Vote Common Good, put together a team of pastors, musicians, poets, and speakers, and we traveled the country asking people of faith to make the common good their voting criteria and to say no to Donald Trump and Trumpism. When the Proud Boys heard that we were coming to Marco Island, they started saying on the internet that they were going to try to stop our event from even happening. Because I believe it's almost always best to engage people in good faith, I reached out to the organizer. Well, we finally came to an agreement that they would attend our event outdoors, be peaceful, which they were not. They shouted while people were speaking and honked their horns.
You've been hearing people say, build a wall and separate the families. We're here to tell you that which God has brought together, no one should ever separate them. You've been hearing people shout and interrupt from debate stages to parking lots, and we are here to tell you that we are not going to be stopped by anybody yelling or shouting and screaming, and we're glad to have you all with us.
And then following our event, we would have a debate on racism, Trumpism, and Black Lives Matter. Despite their actions during our event, we went ahead with the debate, but due to rain, had to move it inside to the crazy Flamingo bar. Well, not everyone in that bar were formal members of the Proud Boys, and it was to those people that I was really intending my comments. I'm keenly aware that we all only know what we know, and we're often less in control of what we know than we think we are. So on occasion, we need to hear new things from a different source. And there's far too little of that happening in our country. So sometimes you just have to go out and engage intentionally to try and make a difference. In our bar conversation, there were 2 dynamics at play. One was the organizer Jason and others running down the classic list of QAnon-informed conspiracies about Democrats and child sex trafficking, a lot of the classic tropes like George Soros fear-mongering, lies that Black Lives Matter supporters hate America and want to destroy the family and is a communist plot.
In my opinion, I find Black Lives Matter to be a Marxist movement. And I say that because all three originals were Marxists. And I find the Proud Boys over here to be called racist, but as far as I can see, I haven't seen any racism in them. Now, Black Lives Matter, in my opinion, and what I've read about, is, and their mission statement has been to take away the family unit, which is racist, supposedly to them, which means fathers should not be in the families, that mothers should not have to raise their children, the state should, and we have to replace capitalism with Marxism. What is Marxism? Socialism. What is socialism? It's no different than communism. Black Lives Matter is a global organization that you're supporting, that literally on their website and literally on their speeches is pro-Marxism.
You ready for me?
Yes.
Go to their website right now, pull it up, go to blacklivesmatter.com.
I've done it.
Right now, look it up. I double checked a couple days ago.
I've done it.
There's nothing on there about anything you've described.
It says take away the corporations. Yes, it does. I've been there.
Everything.
Thank you. Take away the corporations.
I've been on
Take
it and I
away
have
capitalism.
it. And the families.
Corporations
it says
are-
we're against. They
Look,
are
you got phones in your hand.
pro-trans.
Look it up right now.
I've
Look it
been
up.
there.
BLM has also been co-opted by the Muslim Brotherhood and the various George Soros groups. So there ain't nobody telling me here that they aren't getting Soros money. And he's wrecked a lot of countries in his history. And we're the coup de grace.
So there was plenty of that. But there was also a chance that I had to say why I supported the notion of Black Lives Matter and to share our desire for those listening to not support Trump any longer.
Your experience with Black Lives Matter, all I can tell you is that is a phrase that I'm very comfortable expressing because I want people to say that Black Lives Matter. And here's why I think they don't. Because so many of my friends who are black in this country remind me daily, including people that tour with us, that their lived experience in America is that their lives don't matter. Now, I understand that there was a group founded to express that opinion, and I understand that three of the founders have their own history of how they got there. But I am unwilling to suggest that three people's experience around a phrase is the totality of that phrase. I'm just telling you, I appreciate that phrase, that statement, because I think it represents a really important part of our social dynamic in our country. My experience with the Proud Boys, and this has been our experiences in California, in Michigan, up in Ocala, was that it was statedly racist. My experience with them. My interaction with the Proud Boys, though, was that they demonstrated themselves as racist to us.
What'd they do?
Statedly racist. They shouted the N-word, they shouted go home, they shouted white supremacy. I'm telling you my impression of the times I've interacted with the Proud Boys on our tour in 2018, 2019, and 2020. So that's my experience with it. Now I will tell you that the President of the United States called out the Proud Boys as a white supremacist organization.
No, he did not. That's false.
Let the table talk.
Let the table talk.
Please listen to me.
Mr. Biden.
Even though I voted for Joe Biden, I'm not here to ask you to vote for. I know I did. I'm not here to ask you to vote for Joe Biden. I am simply here not to ask you to act like me. I'm here to ask you to act like the best version of yourself, to deepen into your sense of faith, hope, and love, and say no to this man who you have to defend and argue for every single day.
But even more importantly than me making any particular point, there was this second dynamic. There were moments through the noise of a more honest kind of exchange with people who were actually curious to hear a different perspective. It was such a good reminder that in nearly every group, we can find some people to authentically engage.
So are you saying that we as an American public need to provide every need for every person and they have no self-responsibility to feed themselves, to clothe themselves? And I understand that people fall and they have to get back up and they may need help getting back up. I'm a guardian at Lightem. I'm very involved. That's very passionate to me. So is it that they just get to stay on the roll forever because everybody should be the same? I mean,
Yeah, I must have misspoke. No, in no way, shape, or form am I suggesting that we should have a world in which people don't provide for themselves. But
so tell me, let me make sure I understand you correctly. So what you're saying is under the Trump administration, there have been a lot of bad things that he has created. could you give me a couple of examples of how you feel Trump, what he's done to harm our country? So let me make sure I understand you correctly. So you're saying all these things about him. What about the things that Nancy Pelosi has said and Chuck Schumer has said?
People told me afterward things like, "Thank you for coming and for sharing. I've never had a chance to talk with someone who thinks the way you do." And some even said that they were willing to stay in touch.
Man is still an American. He is our brother. So
Yes.
whatever-
You changed.
Hey guys, we appreciate.
Thank you so much.
Everybody out. So we have to leave the premises to drive.
I would love to. Maybe we can stay in touch. Help me get to Cuba.
Thank you.
I'm not at all sure that we changed any hearts or minds or even votes that day, but I'm certainly glad that we didn't give in to the bullying tactics and lies without offering a truth-telling counter-story. The truth of the matter is, the beliefs held by people in that bar, they're not simply going to just go away. We all need to do our part with faith, hope, and love to provide as many truthful alternatives and invitations to change as we can. This is true for those closest to us and whom we love, and is true for those people who seem so different from us, whom we might just end up sitting next to in a bar.